Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the proceedings on the business set down on the order paper for today be exempted at this day's sitting from the provisions of Standing Order Number 2.
The question is the motion moved by the Leader of the House. As many as are of the opinion say aye. Aye. To the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Mr. Keith Chua. And I also note this is your maiden speech in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity to participate in this debate. And I'd like to firstly declare interest in non-profit organizations, social service organizations that benefit from the tax deduction benefits that we have in place. The proposed amendments to this bill are wide-ranging. Last week, I had the opportunity to participate in a study trip to Denmark. Denmark ranks as one of the happiest countries. The Danish welfare state is characterized by an extensive social security system and high income equality. This has been possible with the Danish society willing to contribute high taxes in return for the system they now collectively enjoy. Their journey took time and is steeped in history. It wasn't always easy and not without challenges. The word trust was frequently used throughout our various interactions, whether this was learning about sustainability at LEGO, whether it was about urban innovation and design at Blocks Hub, or rethinking issues requiring systemic change at the Danish Design Center, or teaching the entrepreneurial mindset, beginning all the way in primary school through to secondary school at the Danish Foundation for Entrepreneurship. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe all participants from our Singapore team brought away many helpful observations that we can consider from personal to corporate to societal improvements. Allow me to share 3 helpful lessons and observations from the many that I noted. First is that of a society that is not just surviving, but thriving. As I reflect on the many achievements in Singapore, we are thriving in several areas and surviving in others. In catching up on the news of recent initiatives after coming back, I'm encouraged by the new 1.1 billion cost of living package to help tide lower to middle income families cope with rising costs. Ultimately, we need to try to work towards a model where as many as possible not just survive with support packages, but thrive in an environment that provides financial stability, high quality of life, and the ability to make choices on what really matters. Blocks Hub in Copenhagen is a co-working community space that brings together architects, engineers, startups, policymakers, and academia to drive urban innovation. Creative thinking and collaboration begins at the very earliest stages. Copenhagen, and I'm using the figure that was given to us at the presentation, has a population of 600,000, about a tenth of our population. And yet they have assembled an initiative to plan for a further increase of 100,000, but this is an urban city population by 2050. In their words, cities are systems, cities are nature, cities are communities. Their continuing mission to create livable, resilient cities for the future, but they're planning well in advance. The second observation is the practice of constant and continuing review of systems and processes across all sectors, whether these are social, health, green issues, or digital transformation. The Danish Design Center illustrated an example of their current study concerning youth mental health issues. And they start with the difficult questions. For example, is this an issue where youths are surviving in a sick system, sick, S-I-C-K, in a sick system. They are now undergoing a comprehensive review of whether systemic change will be required to enable youth to thrive and not just survive. The third observation that we could consider is from the Danish Foundation for Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is taught from primary school upwards. The teaching of entrepreneurship has been found to help solve challenges creatively, help handle complex situations, look for available resources, network, increase motivation, among many, many other positives. In the 10 years since implementation, the sample findings suggest entrepreneurship has been transformative. One major objective is to keep Danish entrepreneurship at the forefront. However, as not everyone becomes an entrepreneur, the evaluation has shown that teaching entrepreneurship has developed a better workforce. The Singapore non-profit sector has benefited from the extremely generous 2.5 times deduction of the amount of value or qualifying donations. Clause 32 extends this through to 31st December 2026. IPCs across the spectrum of social services, medical and health services, education, culture, heritage, arts, sports, have had many years to build up a culture of giving supported by this generous scheme. The objective is to enable and to encourage collaborative philanthropy in the non-profit sectors. Some sectors, as we have heard, seem to have done better than others. The matter of qualifying donations may benefit from a review to enable access to funding by new initiatives that are charitable in nature, but may not yet have achieved IPC status. In a similar way, smaller IPCs may be helped in ways to increase wider awareness of their mission. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe we are moving toward a society that is ready to give more. This is being done through giving time, giving expertise, and giving financially. The government has laid one foundational piece for the coming years, further extending the 2.5 times deduction. We should not delay demonstrating our collective responsibility to play our part. May I request if the Minister would consider a longer runway to enable our society to achieve an increasingly collaborative model of Singapore philanthropy. The demands of an aging society, the aspirations for better quality of life for those with specific needs and the vulnerable, and the desire that no one gets left behind will need the active participation of both government and people. Planning and implementing may well take us beyond 2026. For many years, we have been giving beyond our borders. The interest and active initiatives include social entrepreneurs, foundations, religious organizations, educational institutions, and volunteers. Many do so quietly and without fanfare. Thus far, all these initiatives have not received tax deduction. It shows us that giving goes beyond the material. However, I do agree that giving beyond our borders will be enhanced by the proposed tax incentives for approved beneficiary organizations. I look forward to the continuing development of Singapore as a philanthropy hub and the proposed systems for donations outside of Singapore. Public consultations have been a method to get feedback and suggestions. Some of the feedback and suggestions are accepted. Those that are not accepted get an explanation. May I request the Minister to consider the approach of co-creation alongside the approach of public consultations. Co-creation potentially enables wider buy-in at the early stages. Co-creation enables the voices from both top-down and ground-up to be given opportunity for consideration. Forward Singapore will give us a comprehensive picture of the Singapore that we aspire. Achieving this may require asking difficult questions and to agree to systemic changes when necessary. 58 years ago, this nation began with a group of dedicated leaders who transformed a small country with limited resources to the financial success that we enjoy. This has been a collaborative effort of the leaders and the people. Today, we find ourselves as stewards of a success story, and as Singaporeans, carry this responsibility for the current and future generations. The future will be different in terms of challenges and aspirations. History, however, has shown us the place and value of collaboration. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you.